Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Lebanon Board of Works meeting for February 11, 2019. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Robertson, will you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dick. All right, next we'll move on to the roll call of members. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Sure. Mayor Gentry.
Present.
Oops, sorry. Jane Taylor.
Present.
Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Present.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. Any changes or amendments to the proposed minutes?
And we have two this
Okay.
time for January 14th and
Okay.
January 28th.
Okay.
Do you want to do them both individually or do them both?
We're going to do it individually, but are there any amendments to those minutes? No changes? Okay. This time, then, I would approve a motion to approve the minutes from our January 14th meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, those minutes are approved. And next to January 28th, would entertain a motion.
I move to approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve and a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Now we'll move on to department head reports. First up is Police Department, Chief Wormuth.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, got a little shock from that. During the period between 1/28 and today's date of 2/11, the Lebanon Police Department responded to 628 calls for service. A total of 22 persons were arrested for the following crimes: 5 for wanted on a warrant, 4 for operating a vehicle while intoxicated, 3 for theft, 2 for driving with never receiving a license, 2 for driving while suspended, 2 for possession of methamphetamine, 1 for possession of cocaine, 1 for possession of marijuana, 1 for possession of a alleged drug, and 1 for battery and strangulation. A total of 12 handgun carry licenses were issued by our office. On January 30th, our newest officers, Tim Edmonds, Trey Comage, and Eric Taylor, completed their mandatory department TASER training. Each received proper instruction on the laws governing these weapons, the proper deployment and safe handling of the weapon system. At the end of the training, we shot them with the tasers. All 3 survived. It was not an enjoyable experience. They like to report back. Again, we've always offered this training for any council member or board member that wants to come through and participate in some of our police training. You have yet to come in and step in and do that.
Where does the end of the line start? Too bad we missed it.
On January 31st, conditional offers for employment were made to Caleb Victory and Jameson Wright, both of Lebanon. Both have since completed their physical and psychological testing. We hope to have Mr. Victory starting at the 1st of March and Mr. Wright hopefully in mid-April. On February 6th and 7th, Sergeant Tommy Nash taught a department-wide class on police canine operations. Each officer learned the capabilities of the canine, how to assist the canine handler in tracking, and proper setup of a perimeter and canine operations. Also on those dates, Detective Tony Bales and Amy Dickerson traveled to Indianapolis and completed training on conducting internal investigations. On the evening of February 2nd, I had the honor of promoting 4 officers. Ryan Williamson was promoted to sergeant, Ben Phelps promoted to the rank of lieutenant, Scott Hood was promoted to captain, and Chad Morgan was promoted to the rank of major. We carried the promotion ceremony on Facebook Live. It's still on our Facebook page if the public would like to view it. I'd also like to thank Councilman Brent Wheat for providing this service of the Facebook Live. This past Saturday, February 9th, LPD hosted our 3rd annual retiree breakfast in our training room. This is always a great time and celebrates the officers who dedicated 20, 25, and even 30 years of service to our city. We had 10 retirees attend. They all told their war stories the same as last year, except they were a little more elaborate this year and a little more grander scheme. But it's really fun to have those gentlemen come back to the department. It's something that I've always been telling our officers: once LPD, always LPD. This Saturday on the 16th, we will be doing our agility testing for our applicants in our newest hiring process. We're going to be using the middle school since it's going to be cold and icy for the 1.5 mile run through the hallways and the 300-yard sprint. We have 16 applicants that will be doing this process. And tomorrow we're hosting our 2nd annual clergy meeting. Last year we had a luncheon for all the members of the clergy in this area. As I explained to people, this is not a religious event. every member of the clergy is, or excuse me, leaders, the preachers and all that stuff are leaders in this community. We take this opportunity in the Lebanon Police Department to gather them together for a report card. They are leaders in their community, they're leaders of the people, they have the people's ear, and they listen to the people. So we ask them, what are we doing right? Because we want to continue to do that. What are we doing wrong so we can stop doing that? And what can we do better? And so it's almost a report card just from community members, how we're doing our job. So this time we're doing it in the evening time. That way we can get some of the smaller part-time pastors there. So tomorrow I have 24 pastors, preachers, and priests that I'll be feeding pizza and pasta. So we're looking forward to that meeting with them. It's always a good time, a good fellowship, and it's nice to get a report card from them. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions from the board?
No.
Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up is Deputy Chief Baird for the Fire Department.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Works. Since the last Board of Works meeting, the Fire Department has responded to 158 emergency calls of service. We've logged 246 hours training, performed 28 commercial fire inspections, assisted with one unsafe building inspection, installed 2 car seats, and participated in 1 public education event. On Wednesday, February 6th, Chief Batts and Deputy Chief Wiry met with 25 Lebanon Middle School 8th graders. The students are part of a service learning project. They choose the class based on their interest in public safety and military service. The topics include servant leadership, extreme ownership, and mutual accountability. The students will be at Station 11 on this Wednesday for a work day. Crews will continue to train on ice rescue throughout the month of February. Lastly, on February 23rd, we will be hosting our annual pancake breakfast. This year, all proceeds will be donated to the family of Jolene Gibson. For those of you who don't know, Jolene is a 15-month-old diagnosed with rhabdoid cancer. She is the great niece of LFD Lieutenant Mark Brown. The breakfast time is from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Lebanon Fire Headquarters at 975 Lasley Drive. She's a pretty sick little girl. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. Next up is Parks Department, John Messenger.
Good evening. Lebanon Youth Soccer Association is currently holding sign-ups and will be until March 1st. You can visit LebanonYouthSoccer.com to sign up. Our Daddy-Daughter Dance will be held on April 13th this year. Tickets will be on sale March 1st. We're hoping for a good turnout again this year, and the theme is Beauty and the Beast. The splash pad construction is moving along with the water fixtures. They were delivered in the next 2 weeks, starting underground site work, excavating for the pad, and forming the concrete for the water fixtures. Looking good down there. Have a real good superintendent, Ron Seacrest will do a great job for us. Really excited to work with him. Interviews have begun with lifeguards and concessions stand workers, seasonal help. We've started scheduling for their certifications. Although the process has started, we're still accepting lifeguard, concession stand, and seasonal maintenance help. Anyone interested that is 15 years and older, please apply at our Parks office. And also want to welcome Lori Frost to our team. Lori helped us out last year in a successful year at the pool. She's a great asset. Just wanted to welcome her. Looking forward to another great season and having her back this year. That's all I had.
Okay, thank you, John. Any questions for John from the board?
Hey, John, when are you going to start the dog park?
It's already started. We already have the water fountain already over there. We're getting ready to get electric as soon as this weather cooperates.
Okay.
And the fencing will go up. Looking forward to it too. Hopefully we'll be open sometime, I'm hoping the 1st of May, but there again, all dependent on weather. As soon as we can grade it and get that down, it'll look good.
Okay.
And we're still working on the dog licenses as well. I know we talked about the...
Yeah, we've working with Leedy Trophy, and we're going to have dog licenses, not only city dog license for every dog in the city, but we will also have a dog park license. So anybody that they'll be getting an application on your phone or a key fob, either way for entry in there. There again, once we get the electrical run, we'll have all that security for that. Looking forward to it, though. We'll have a area for small dogs, and then medium to large dogs is another area. Nice little area with a bench where they can sit, but drinking fountains there. We just need.
Yeah, I saw the drinking fountain.
Yeah, just need the water. Well, you saw the mess they've left there too from that KV-69 that came in.
Yeah.
And we just can't move any of that dirt in this kind of weather. It's just too muddy. Same thing we're working on down at the splash pad. As soon as we get some of this thawed out, we don't want to have a pool there, so we'll try and work around the weather. But looking forward to both those projects are cool, and they'll be going this spring.
Okay, thanks, John.
Okay.
Dog license fee.
Well-
I wonder if we still have that or
So we do,
worked out.
so we do require all dogs to have dog licenses, but currently the fee is nothing.
Yeah, a long time ago, I believe the charge was $3 for a city dog license, and it has gone from the street department, police department, the clerk's office, I think was the
We
last
had
to
it
do
when I
it.
started, and
And
then
it
we
was
gave it to
free
the
for the
street.
service. The fee's minimal for these dog tags. Are pretty cool. It'll have the city logo on it. I don't have any to show you. I did share with the mayor the selection, and then turn around the dog park ones. Well, it'll be a little dog bone. It's pretty cool too. But yeah, you'll have two separate. The reason that we have two separate, you'll still have to show your all your shots that you have and everything up to date. Then we can track that on a printout as far as that goes. So yeah, all that will be needed.
Yeah, and in order to be a member of the dog park, you will have to have a city dog license, which is why we moved to the Parks Department, because they're going to be managing all of the membership at the dog park. So that's
Correct,
why we moved it.
and I believe Mr. Shine's working on our liability waiver that they'll have to sign off on that too, and make sure that everybody's covered for everything.
That fee set up revolving fund or something that we use it for maintenance.
That's the idea, yes.
Yeah, non-reverting funds, so we can throw that right back into the, yes, so we.
We
can
haven't
throw-
created it yet, but that's what the.
That'll help
concept-
us with the, yeah,
Yep.
I'll be doing that probably, not this month, probably month of March, because there again, anticipation, as soon as the weather cooperates, and here we have more junk coming again tonight, so who knows, who knows?
All right.
All right, thank you, John.
Thank you,
Ready for
John.
spring, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions for the public? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up is Engineering Department. Kevin?
Thank you, and good evening. Updates for tonight. Let's jump right into downtown. Beginning to start to see some activity. It was a really short winter, only a couple of weeks of real stop to construction over the last 2-3 weeks. But we're getting started again today. So the road closed between State Road 39 to the west, Main Street to the west, to and including the intersection of West Street. So what we've been working on there is beginning water main installation. The traffic signals were completed there at both intersections of 39. On Friday, NDOT arrived late last week, and finished the signal timing there to complete those installations, and they've been working with our subcontractors to wrap those up. But again, as I said, the road closure started back up again today, and we'll be working our way west. A couple other cleanup items that might have seen taking place. We did pour the foundations for all the memorial monuments around the courthouse lawn. That happened last week, and as soon as we get some warmer weather, we will be setting those monuments. There's also a couple other things, speaking of warmer weather, things that are weather dependent, and that's the setting of the pavers at the southeast corner of Main and 39, there at the corner of the Key Bank building. As I said, the memorial monuments is also, we're going to wait for some warmer weather to make sure we do a great job there. And then that's really it. Right now, we're just focused on moving west, and the water main and utility work has begun. So additional work that will be done later in the spring once asphalt plants open will be milling and resurfacing of along State Road 39. This will include some of the storm sewer work at the intersection of Washington Street. and as well as all the work that's slated for reconstruction at the intersection of State Road 32 and Meridian. So a lot to come. We're just getting started. As I said, though, they've begun to lay the water mains west of 39. And those water mains will continue to go west, and once they wrap up what is Phase 4 of the downtown contract, White Construction will go right into the second contract, which is the West Main Street contract. So the plan would be is they'll start the water mains in that one block from 39 to West Street. That'll take about a week, maybe a week and a half, depending on weather, and they will then continue west on Main Street, working towards Lafayette Avenue and on to Patterson, and with the laying of those water mains. No road closures, no additional road closures other than what was permitted in the downtown contract for this Phase 4 will be permitted on West Main Street until after April 1st. After April 1st, they will be allowed to close the road and to through traffic. They'll have to keep the traffic open for the local businesses and residences, but you will see traffic closures on West Main Street after April 1st. I want to remind everybody that we have a meeting tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the Boys and Girls Club. I will be there, other city officials will be there, as well as representatives from White Construction. We'll have some light food for you to eat, but we want to just have an open house sort of forum to allow people to come in. We'll do a brief informal presentation as to what's happening and what the schedule looks like for the next few months, and then allow people to ask questions. So those questions about how do I get to the post office? How do I get to the VFW hall? This is a good time to come in and be able to hear it straight from the contractors, hear exactly what we'll be working through. So again, that's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. at the Boys and Girls Club. And again, there will be some light refreshments. One other sort of anecdotal note I would point out that I saw something today happen that, people have quite frankly said couldn't be done. And we knew it could be done on paper, and I'm happy to say I actually witnessed it today. As I was coming out of Arnie's for lunch, I saw a northbound semi-tractor trailer on State Road 39 take a left-hand turn onto Washington Street going west. There was actually a car sitting there at the stoplight, and surprisingly, that semi-trailer was able to make the turn. That car did not have to back up, and that semi-tractor trailer with a 53-foot trailer did not jump the curb or hit the other car. So I'm happy to say that it performed just the way we thought it could, and I know there's a lot of debate and questions about why are the roads so narrow. So happy to report that I did witness something today that I thought everyone would be proud to see. Moving on to other things. Pavement resurfacing projects for 2019. We've set that schedule. I won't bother reading you all the road segments, but there are 14 road segments totaling of about 5 miles that we are planning to resurface this year. Those projects were all submitted for our 2019 Round 1 Community Crossing Grant application that was submitted on February 1st. We're waiting to see the results of that. Once we hear those results, then we will move right into bidding of those projects. Other projects throughout the city, Indianapolis Avenue Phase 2, not a whole lot of updates really at this point. We're just still waiting on notice from the state of Indiana that they are ready to proceed with that contract. And remind everyone that was a $2.5 million estimated project with the winning bid from Reith Riley of $2.3 million, and our portion of that cost will be roughly $460,000. So once NDOT has wrapped up those contracts, they will give us that notice to proceed and ask for that money to be deposited into their account. Other projects, no further updates on Grant Street, still waiting on NDOT approvals to move forward with design. Riley Ridge and Meadow Wings, I haven't heard from those in a while, but we will have later in the meeting, we have those on the agenda for bonding and secondary plat approvals before this board. The only other thing I have is just a brief update on the Parks restroom bidding that happened this last meeting. Remind everyone, 2 bids were submitted, one from Monroe Construction for $493,000 and one from F.A. Wilhelm for $950,000. Those bids are currently still under review and taking those under advisement, working with our consultants. No decision has been made regarding an award at this time.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. A lot of information there. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, sir. Next up is Planning Department. Ben Bontrager. Oh, Derek Warren. Excuse me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I kind of feel like Tony Kukoc taking over for Michael Jordan after a report like that. I don't know if I can live up to the hype here.
Sorry about that.
I'm stepping in for Ben tonight. Tonight's Ben's birthday, so he asked me to present since I had to be here for the Redevelopment Commission meeting anyway. So I will give you the Planning and Zoning Department report. 20 building inspections happened from January 29th until tonight, February 11th. Yes, and 13 permits were issued. 2 new residential permits, and the rest of them made up of HVAC, electric, remodel, plumbing, right-of-way permits, and accessory structures. Code enforcement was busy in this last period. Some of the highlights are living in and occupying vehicles in a backyard. An inspection was made and a citation was issued on that one. Parking complaints, vehicles on the grass, recreational commercial parking, breeding and keeping of farm animals, and offensive odors were in the list for this time around. One of the things Ben wanted me to mention was the final comprehensive plan open house that has been scheduled for Tuesday, February 12th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the Lebanon High School in what is called the study room. At this meeting, our consultant will be presenting recommendations on all goals and objectives identified during the planning process, as well as key initiatives that will be highlighted in the plan. Any community members, all and any community members, inside or outside of city limits, are invited to this meeting to provide input on the recommendations that will help to shape the city over the next 10 years. The input is critical to the final plan that will be presented later this year. Again, that was an open house for the comprehensive plan on Tuesday, February 12th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the Lebanon High School in the study room. And just a couple other things while I have the mic here. Some exciting things that have happened in the month of January that have come across my desk specifically that I can speak about are the community rating system program that we participate in is a program through FEMA that gets our residents who pay into the flood insurance a discount, and it's based off of record keeping that we do as the floodplain administrator and other information that's passed out throughout a period of time. So the last reporting happened 3 years ago, and in January, off and on, I've been working with FEMA to give them the information they needed to keep us certified. I just got the email tonight that we remained a level 7, which is the highest rating in the state. There's only 4 other communities that have this rating. Level 7 gets our people that pay into the flood insurance a 15% discount on their flood insurance, so which is huge for us. So we decided to enter into this program in 2013. So we've been a part of the program now for almost 6 years. In January 30th, I worked with ATC Environmental to apply for another round of brownfields money. Our brownfields grant that we had available for property owners and developers since 2014 expired this last fall. Happy to report we spent all $400,000 of the grant money that was available on phase 1 and phase 2 environmental testing, which in a nutshell gives potential purchasers and property owners, current property owners, an idea of what the contamination on their property looks like. It was a great incentive tool for us to have. We've actually had several requests since our money expired. January 30th, we submitted another application to the EPA. So hopefully this fall we'll know whether or not we qualify for more money. I have a feeling that we stand a very good chance because of all the conditions that we met in our first round of money. So that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Derek. Any questions for Derek from the board?
No.
Any questions from the public? Okay.
Thank you.
Next is Street Department, Street and Stormwater Department, Dave Newell.
How you doing tonight? Well, let's see. We've been pretty busy. Street department, fixing potholes. I think we were out at least 2 days straight last week. Weather permitting's kind of on that issue, but whenever we get a chance, trying to fix them. Everybody that calls in, let us know, really helps out because we can't be everywhere. So the app that the city has, we've gotten a few out of that too. So that's starting to kick off, it looks like. Myself, Craig, and Tom, we attended a stormwater conference at Purdue Thursday, the 7th. The class was very informative. We talked about new MS4 regulations and rule changes, and also covered some on-job site inspections for erosion control. I've done a lot of it myself and Tom, so we're getting Craig into it too, and keep everybody protecting our waterways is what that's for. We were pretty busy last night, or yesterday afternoon actually. We hit the streets about 2 p.m., worked until about 8 p.m. Then this morning we was back at it at 7 a.m., cleaning off the slush and stuff off the roads, checking for icy spots that were left over from the night before. During this storm alone, we used 27 tons of material, so gives you an idea, kind of. This one wasn't too bad, but it's just heavy, wet snow is what it was. But let the mayor know, and you guys might be interested to know too, the parts for GPS systems has arrived, so we're just waiting for that to be installed. To catch up to speed, I guess the hope for that is that it'll be help us to be a little bit more efficient in plowing. We can see where we're tracking over each other. Keep track of where our trucks are if we need to, or tell speeds, so we can reward guys that are doing a good job. But most of it's going to be for plowing and just be more efficient as the city continues to grow. And we'd like to hope Mike Spears gets feeling a little better soon. We haven't had him around the shop for quite a while. He goes into surgery, so we just hope he gets back on his feet, gets back to us. That's all I got.
Great, thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Any questions from the board for Dave? Any questions from the public? Okay. Next up is Communications Community Development, Joe LePage.
Good evening, everyone. Want to extend first off, and it'll be the majority of my topic is for my Board of Works report. A big thank you to all those who attended Savor Lebanon 2019. And talking with the folks at Indiana on Tap, this was the most popular and most well-attended Savor so far. Right around 500 tickets were purchased. And just to kind of give you a little bit of inside baseball, there are a couple reasons why we did the Savor Lebanon event and other events like it. One, of course, is quality of life for current residents. Those folks living in Lebanon want to have something fun to do, and so this provides that avenue. Kind of secondary is the attraction of our community to outside folks. Visitors come in and they may not have exactly maybe a reason to visit Lebanon, but this will provide one of those reasons, and our hope is that, like many of us, those of us who have expected to be in Lebanon for a short amount of time, but for some reason or another have decided to put down significant roots, this Savor Lebanon provides one of those opportunities. And so after year one, again, probably more information you wanted to know, there was a young married couple who attended Savor Lebanon and really had no desire to live in Lebanon. But after the event, decided to drive around. They ended up buying a home here, and so we would like to have more of those success stories. And so just looking ahead to Savor Lebanon in 2020, we'd like to team up with some of the home builders that are currently in town, and then some future ones as well, to maybe offer an attraction piece to some of those would-be residents. And here's the reasoning for some of that. And talking with the folks from Indiana on Tap, 43 different cities were represented at Savor Lebanon. And so you're looking at not just Lebanon folks, not just around the donut counties, but actually 43 different cities. Some examples: Evansville, pretty far to the south, Wabash to the north, and then Greencastle over to the west. Again, people are willing to drive for events like this, and so we look to continue to add to that event for years to come. Along those same lines, and talking of quality of life, we launched in the Community Development Department, we launched Shop Lebanon. You may have seen the hashtag online. You may see it on the website or social media. What the concept is, we launched a store, both physical and eventually online, some attractive Lebanon-centered items. And so I brought an example with me here. This is not Lebanon high school colors per se. This is a design that is relatively new. It's our crossed arrows theme. What we'd like to have it support is the fact that Lebanon is a pretty great place. Even with our sports teams, you wear in the black and the gold, you have the Lebanon Tigers, but we want to also kind of push that quality of life within our residents and visitors as well. So we launched this online store. We have sweatshirts and short sleeve shirts and things like that. We sold 26 shirts at the event to go along with 19 previously. They've been out, if you've been in my office, it's a disaster area, but it has some of the stock that we have as they come in and they're out and about. And we sold 19 previous, and so again, this is probably more information than you wanted to know. But here are the goals here. Maybe asking why. Why do we do this? It's their shirts, their sweatshirts, their long sleeve. First off, the shopper gets a pretty great item. We went more expensive with the design or the quality of shirt. The city itself gets a walking billboard, and so if you're wearing this and it has our courthouse on it, or you have some of the other designs, you're what we call a walking billboard for the city of Lebanon. And also, and I think the most significant thing to keep in mind here is nonprofits get help. And the way this works is this shirt that I held up will cost you $20. And $10 of that purchase goes to the not-for-profit of your choice. We have 46, a list of 46 that are either located in Lebanon or benefit Lebanon folks. And so the Cancer Society absolutely would be able to be on this list, even though it's by title, it's Boone County, it affects Lebanon folks. And so 14 charities have been chosen so far, and they get a portion of the money. The Michael T. Hodges Instrument Fund, Sylvia CAC, the Humane Society, Mental Health America, Boone County Cancer Society, the Heart of Lebanon, the Boys and Girls Club, Symphony at Sunset, Operation Homefront, Habitat for Humanity, the Boone County Historical Society, Senior Services, Girls on the Run, and the Boone County Children's Home. And so all those are the 14 that have been helped so far. And so you may be wondering, well, it's a moneymaker for the city, right? I mean, there's got to be a hook in here somewhere. And again, just to use this t-shirt as an example, it costs us from the designer $9.50. From them, we sell it for $20, taking the processing. We also sell sweatshirts at a loss, and so this is not a moneymaker for the city whatsoever. We truly want people to be wearing Lebanon gear, City of Lebanon gear, while paying it forward, and we're hoping that would kind of juice up in them a giving heart, and so that they'll see that it was $10 or so to this charity or that charity, that maybe they would continue to give. And so support those not-for-profits that need help within our community. And so next steps, we will hope to, Lord willing, have online purchases. We'll have a write-up on each shirt, and also a listing. That's the crux right now, is a listing of those not-for-profits that you can choose from. And so once that problem is rectified, we'll have the site up that you can get online and choose your charity and get your item shipped to you or picked up. We also hope to have more designs. Those of us who put them together and the designers are working on some fun ones to kind of take it next level, and also physical space. Looking for, you may have heard in previous Board of Works reports, we hope to team up with the ARC and have some ARC residents provide the stewardship of our store. And so those are all next steps. And so as of right now, the makeshift store is in my office. I mentioned the disaster zone, and that will be open roughly 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. If someone's in the office there, they can show you the shirts, you can take a look at them, and all those things. Forgive the rambling there. It's something that is an idea that I had, and it's been fun to see it really hit the ground running, and look forward to it doing more so in the future. Other topics, newsletters coming up on March 4th. We're going to release it on that Monday. If you have information, I've been stalking some folks online to be able to have those events, but it's free of charge. Just send me an email with some information and send that to info@lebanon.in.gov, and we'll get your information and your event online in the newsletter as well.
Okay, great. Thank you, Joe. I think it's a great initiative to really help local nonprofits too. So, any questions for Joe from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay, thanks, sir.
Yeah.
All right, that concludes department head reports. So, we'll move on to old business. I don't have anything on my agenda. Anything from the board for old business?
No, nothing at all.
Okay, then we'll move on to new business. And first item I have is Riley Ridge secondary plat approval and right-of-way acceptance. Kevin Krulik.
Yes, thank you once again. This is the secondary plat for Riley Ridge. This is an 85-lot subdivision located near the intersection of Riley Road and Danielle Drive on the city's northwest side. Again, 85 lots. Streets in it are an extension of Danielle Road, an extension of Witt Avenue. So tonight, we are asking for you to accept this secondary plat and the right-of-way dedications therein. We would ask you to make that approval contingent on administrative approval from the planning department and receipt and acceptance of proper bonding, proper performance and maintenance bonding. We've been working with the developer. They are in the process of getting those bonds prepared, but as of the time of this meeting, they are not in receipt of all those, so we would ask that this approval be contingent on Ben and I administratively approving the plat and receiving of those bonds before we would release the plat to the developer for recording.
Okay. Any questions for Kevin from the board? Any public comment? Okay. This time then I would entertain a motion to approve the secondary plat for the Riley Ridge neighborhood, accept all appropriate rights-of-way, and making that subject to final acceptance or final receipt of the appropriate maintenance and performance bonds and final planning department review.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Riley Ridge subdivision plat subject to the approval of final plat and the receiving of bonds to the planning commission.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. That has been approved pending receipt of the bonds.
I will need some signatures before we leave. Although really the only two signatures that are required on this, other than Ben as the Planning Commission Administrator, would be the mayor and Tanya's signature on this. So if we can get that before we leave the building tonight, would be helpful.
If not, you know where to find us.
We know where to find it. Yeah.
I also had Meadow Wings as well.
We do. So Meadow Wings is a subdivision up off of 250 North or Anderson Lane, just east of the railroad tracks, west of State Road 39. Bob Lieberman is the developer and builder. He's been building up there for quite some time. What we have before you tonight is Meadow Wings Section 3D. This is just the final section of that subdivision. All the infrastructure has been installed and is complete and has been accepted. Well, has not been accepted. That's what we're talking about tonight. There's been a number of plats that have been recorded over the years for that subdivision, and administratively, though, it doesn't appear that they ever came before the Board of Works for acceptance. So what we're trying to do tonight is clean that up. This is the last section of that subdivision. So he's asking for approval of Meadow Wings Section 3D. There are no right-of-way dedications in this section. It is just 10 platted lots. They're the last 10 lots that he has to construct. But what Mr. Lieberman has also provided us with is an overall maintenance bond for the entire development. So this maintenance bond encompasses all prior sections, Section 1, Section 2, Section 3A, 3B, 3C, and now 3D. So with the approval of this plat, what we are doing is accepting the prior right-of-way dedications in those prior plats and the maintenance bond associated with all of those prior plats as well.
Okay.
Sorry, I know that's a little unorthodox, but we're just trying to clean up something that's kind of happened over the years, and that's our goal tonight, is to accept final plat Section 3D and accept his maintenance bond for all prior sections of the Meadow Wing subdivision.
Okay. Any questions for Kevin from the board? Any public comment? Okay, I think I'm going to do this in two approvals then. The first motion I would seek would be approval of the secondary plat for Section 3D of the Meadow Wings neighborhood.
I make a motion that we approve Meadow Wings secondary plan, Lot 3D.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the secondary plat. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. And would finally entertain a motion to accept the right-of-way dedication for the Meadow Wings neighborhood for sections 1, 2, 3, 3A, 3B, 3C, and 3D, as well as the appropriate bonds with that as well. You can just say so moved too. That was a long one.
I'll make a motion, we approve the Meadow Wings
Accept the,
acceptance and
yeah.
maintenance bonds for
okay. So we have motion to approve and accept. All in favor say aye, or is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, those have been accepted. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much.
That concludes what I have new business on my agenda. Anything from the board? Okay. This time, moving on to the claims, and we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the claims.
We have a motion to pay the claims. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right, claims are approved, and we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I would move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we are adjourned. The redevelopment commission will begin shortly.